and we will deliver it as a deployment artifact. Okay, so that is what one big most of the companies are using Jenkins. Okay, apart from that, whoever use Azure, okay, so they use their own Azure DevOps pipelines. Okay, so I have seen it. Okay, they are very less using of Jenkins, but AWS people still fascinated about Jenkins. Okay, AWS, even though they have AWS pipeline, people will use Jenkins. And GitOps also picking up. Okay, GitHub Actions having many more functionalities. Okay, a luxury of other stuff. Okay, so that also picking up. Okay, so these three are the one. Okay, and GCP also having a very good pipeline, but compared to all these things, GCP is very or only 7% people is using it. So maybe it will come up in later stage, but right now these are all the stuff.
Is Azure the most popular DevOps cloud stuff? I mean, I have heard a lot of Azure buzzwords all around there while discussing about DevOps. So, is there any, like in Azure, do we have the complete pipelines for DevOps so that we don't need to take other pipelines from the outside?
Wait 1 minute, and I drop my.
Shall I answer for the question?
Sure.
Yeah, so Azure DevOps is nothing but it's a complete package for the DevOps, okay, not only for the pipeline perspective side. If you want to make a complete project management, okay, from the sprint planning and before sprint we have the product increment. From the product increment planning we will keep the epics, and after that we have the feature, and that will be carried this into the user stories, and from there we can start. And everybody is working on the user story, okay, the side. And when he is coming against user story, so the pipeline also everything will be part of the user story. So you can easily find out what are the changes you made for the particular user story. So the Azure DevOps is like one of the most common, and but it is expensive also, okay, compared to other services. And not only for the DevOps side, and if you go into the cloud services also, Azure is providing a lot of cloud service, and we can easily integrating all these cloud service from the Azure DevOps pipelines. For example, if you want to host the application, web application into app service, okay, that you can do through that one. Why? Because the Azure DevOps itself, the pipeline itself providing some task, okay, the task will directly add. And here also you can have two options, classical pipeline and YAML pipeline. So who are not friendly with the YAML codes, okay, they can use the classical pipeline, and you can easily drag and drop the task, and you can configure that one. For example, if you want to build, okay, so we have a lot of build options like .NET and Linux. Oh, sorry.
Kushal, is it
Okay,
clear your question, Vivek?
That for deployment also, when it is goes to the deployment, if you go into the IAS deployment on any other server,
I think your voice
so
is
there also we have IAS
Anurag, your voice is breaking.
Task.
We are losing you in between.
Inside of one web application, we have multiple. Sorry, once web we have multiple.
I'll just mute him. Like
and even the app pull settings.
Anurag, your voice is breaking.
Everything you can do that.
Sorry.
And the same thing we have the app server.
Anurag, your voice were breaking, so most of the things you said wasn't heard properly. Can you please repeat that? I mean, especially the last 2 minute sentences.
Sorry?
Your voice was breaking, Anurag, in between. So
okay,
we actually missed your last 2-3 points.
Is it clear now?
Yes.
Okay, so what I was telling, like we can easily host the web application into the
I think we lost him in between and he joined back.
Yeah, I think some network issue. Is it clear now?
Yes, now it's perfect.
Yeah, so what I was telling, like so if we have the IAS deployment, okay, so that also we can do through the CI/CD pipeline, and we have the app services also. So we have the small containers. there also we can do through the CI/CD pipeline. Why? Because they are providing a lot of by default tasks. And on top of that, if you want to make any custom codes or something, or if you are good in PowerShell script or Python code, so those kind of codes also we can implement there. So a lot of opportunity is giving by the task and other stuff. And if you want to integrate with the unit test, and if you want to integrate with the Sonar Cube or other stuff, right? So everything can add into the pipeline. So each task will be perform a separate action, and you can make the groups also. Like for example, if you have same steps for multiple pipeline, right? So we can add 5 steps into the one group, and that group we can directly add a single task here. So it is providing a lot of option to make the things very easier.
So in Azure DevOps, we don't need to rely on another outside stuffs, right? Everything is put inside.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's a complete
and
package.
one more thing, like we have digital ocean also. That is also one trending DevOps tool. Okay, so a lot of people are depending on the digital ocean also. I didn't try, but I heard like the digital ocean is also providing a lot of user friendly things to deploy the things and doing the Azure DevOps. I'm not explored that one, but I had digital ocean also there, like Jenkins.
So what's the overall market of Azure DevOps? Do you have any idea on that?
That's what. Okay, it is costly.
Okay, so that only big organizations will be related.
Yeah, mostly big organizations are like yeah. So small organizations like if they're ready to spend that much of cost, they're ready to take. But not sure how much percentage of people are taking the Azure DevOps.
Yeah, since Anurag has mentioned about DigitalOcean, I would like to add a few points about that. We are using DigitalOcean. In the cost perspective, DigitalOcean is a better option. So Azure and AWS is a good option when it comes to scaling up and scaling down things. And DigitalOcean, you can use independent servers. You can create in a cheaper manner, like $5 per month or shared servers, and it's easy to manage. And there are a lot of images like MongoDB or popular open source platform. You can easily deploy it with DigitalOcean.
Slightly, okay, the cost effective method is always Jenkins.
So in Azure DevOps, is the coding comparatively less compared to that of the normal DevOps method?
Because see, Jenkins is nothing but it's a scheduler kind of stuff. Okay, it won't having that much capability. Okay, so it's in turn calling our own code only. Okay, our own code. Okay, where we have written it in shell script or Python or whatever. Okay, so it's just effective way. Okay, we can schedule. Okay, 11 o'clock the build will run, and we have set it up everything on the shell script or the Python. Okay, so it will do that job. Okay, other than that, we don't have Jenkins is having that much capability.
Okay, got it.
Any other questions?
Can you please explain it with a dummy project? For example, can you explain it in a scenario of developing a new operating system or something like that? If it is not difficult.
I don't know. I never developed a new operating system, first of all.
No, I just suggested something. You can replace it with whatever you are convenient with. I mean, if it is not very difficult to explain.
No, nothing difficult. Okay, see, for any project, okay, for example, we have to deliver some product, okay, things like that. Okay, where our people will code, and we will have some coding environment. Okay, so then they will check into a GitHub or GitLab, whatever. Okay, some repository. They will keep on adding their codes. Okay, so we have two technologies. One is push, and on the commit we will. We see, okay, whenever the people commit the code, it will trigger a build. Build we can it's called again a script kind of. Okay, we have different building mechanism. Even in the before stage, the lighter note, it's ant build or bamboo. There are so many things we can use. Okay, somehow it is a build. Okay, what it will build, it will either create an a AR or some artifact. Okay, so it's a deployable. Okay, that is the one which we are going to deploy into a server. Okay, application server, web server, whatever. Okay, so it needs a scheduled mechanism. Okay, so that is how this CI/CD or pipeline will come into place. Okay, what it will do, it will always monitor. Okay, whether this guy is checking in or is it the time. Okay, whether my scheduled time. Okay, 6 o'clock every day night or evening. I need to trigger a build. Okay, it will trigger a build. What it will do, it will pick up all the new codes from the Git wherever the repository is there. Then it will build an artifact. If nowadays I already told it's a Kubernetes or containers, it will create an image. Okay, and it will keep it in one version. Okay, so it is having version. Okay, why we have version is like, okay, suppose it may not work the same way how it is working in dev. Okay, and the production or some other environment, it may fail. Okay, that time we need to revert it. Okay, how can we revert it? We can't simply take all the backup of the entire environment, right? Even though we are keeping a snapshot of every environment, but it's not always good practice. Okay, so we need to just change the AR or the artifact in that particular deployment. Okay, so we can revert it to the from the artifact. That is why we are keeping everything. Artifact is nothing but some repository to keep our things. It's like a vault kind of stuff. I can just keeping it. Okay, then we will deploy it through our script only. Okay, so it will deploy to a QA. Then it will start it. Okay, there will be a start script also. So once that our pipeline has run, the new code will be built and released to the new environment, and it's up for testing. So that is what even testing also we have some incorporation, like other than Selenium and all, you have heard about the tools. Okay, so this is automated tested on particular scenarios. Okay, all depends upon the testing team has written what are the testing tools. But end-to-end testing or customized testing and all, again the QA team has to do. Okay, so that is how the pipeline will work.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and just a note to add, like just not to add, like I want to clarify if there's a field change which is happened from the ML or maybe from the backend side, like a new field is adding to the database. Okay, so that sort of change will need a separate deployment, right? So will you please explain that type of a scenario?
So usually what we do, we will have two separate track. Okay, one is for the code track. Okay, code is like the pure functionality and the requirements from the client or our product. Okay, and for all this configuration part, we will keep a separate branch, and we will do all our stuff there. Okay, and we will merge it together when we deploy it. Okay, it's not a merging, actually it's a two separate deployment all going together. Okay, so the scenario is like that. Okay, whenever the code breaks, okay, maybe we need to revert only code. Okay, if we put all our configuration along with the code, we need to revert all our config also. Most of the times we don't need to revert the config part. We will keep the config part there, and code only we will revert. Okay, so it's always better to keep two separate track for config and for code.
Okay, thank you.
So Krishna Kumar, so I have a question here. So in a completely automated system, I won't call it a completely automated system. In a mostly automated system, what would the process look like? So there will be a version controlling system like GitHub or GitLab, and there will be a triggering mechanism, and there will be a pushing mechanism. How does it look like? So in deployment, and can you explain that?
So this pipeline I already told, right? The mostly the problem comes. See, we can deploy it to anywhere. Okay, so with our already built. Okay, I told, okay, we have a repository. We pulled it out, created a image, EA or whatever, and we have automated to deploy it, and we deployed it. Okay, so especially in the production. Okay, we deployed it and it's up and running. What is next? There comes the monitoring tools comes. Okay, there will need a lot of monitoring. Okay, so uh, nowadays monitoring is the one where we need more people, and efficiency is one of the stuff we need to keep on eye on it. Okay, because for example, big clients, if we have a big retail client or something, okay, then a Thanksgiving Day or a Black Friday comes in, even if it is goes down for 1 minute, it is a huge loss for them. Okay, so the monitoring, how efficient is your monitoring? Okay, we have many stuff, Prometheus, Alk, Splunk, Nagios, so many stuffs we have. Okay, so how efficiently we can act is the efficiency of our system. Okay, so say for example, we do having a monitor system in place in production. Okay, it triggers error and it send a notification through Slack channel or our some channel. Okay, maybe a mail. Okay, I don't think everybody is using Slack or something, but a pager duty alert, everything will comes up. Okay, then how fast we can resolve it? Okay, how fast is our SLA? Okay, we can't keep SLA as 4 hours or 2 hours in a production system. Okay, so a auto healing mechanism we can automate it. Okay, so a scenario like um, this kind of, okay, say for example, my AJP thread threshold is going up. Okay, we know that, okay, if it's cross 256, it is going to break. Okay, it may be different reasons. Maybe our database pool is overloaded, or maybe some of my thread is hanging or something. Okay, so we already know this scenario. We do stop the servers and we will release the lock and we will again restart it. Okay, so it may take a little bit of time for in human hands. So as we already know the scenario, why can't we automate it? Okay, so we will tell the monitoring system that, okay, what is the threshold of my AJP thread or something. Okay, then once it reaches, it will automatically start bringing down that particular instance out of the traffic, then restart it, clear the stuff, and put it back. Okay, that is one efficient way of. So we can automate everything. How much you can bear with the cost? That is the question. Adding to that, nowadays we have called AIOps. Okay, so that is a new term called in AIOps stuff. Okay, we have so much stuff in AWS itself. Okay, and it's not a single tool to get an AIOps. It's like, okay, how efficiently we integrate all these monitoring systems along with our remediation systems. Okay, so for example, if we have Nagios, all these Splunk alerts, and even New Relic and App Dynamics, all these monitoring systems, there will be a tool called Moonsoft. Okay, so Moonsoft, what it will do, it will collect all the inputs from these guys. Okay, then it will create a dashboard along with its own artificial intelligence, and taking up the priority, it will create a ticket also, and it will assign to the people. So already the RC and everything is already done. You need to act only. Okay, so even the acting part also, if we automate it, it's a complete automated system. Okay, for example, not example. Okay, so most of the companies keep a DR system. Okay, how to handle it? Sometimes the entire system is going down due to some fact. Okay, so then the DR system will be up. Okay, it's a replica of the production. Okay, so that is called a DR system, disaster recovery system. These are all the fully automated nature of one environment.
Okay. Yeah, I can see many persons joined. So Swati and I can see Swati. Maybe you can add some more details on this part. If you
Hi
can.
guys.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah, I'm not much into DevOps part, but I have one question here. Hello.
ഞാൻ ആ ഒരു വ്യക്തിനെ ഞാൻ ഒന്ന് പുറത്താക്കിയിട്ടുണ്ടേ. ആൾക്ക് അവിടെ ഇരുന്നോട്ടെ. We will continue.
Developers actually, and but we handle this as well. So as part of our company development, like we do this deployment ourselves. So we have this pipeline, Bitbucket pipeline generation. So my question was, it's kind of very simple. Like, what point of time do you think that we require a dedicated DevOps team at what scale? Because we are having a kind of a good scale now, and over the last 2-3 years of time, the way company has progressed or the more bandwidth has been consumed, still we are kind of automating things, and we didn't have to have a dedicated DevOps team in our development release lifecycle. So what kind of do you think that we require a DevOps team dedicatedly, and what kind of impact or easiness that is going to give to the company?
Yeah, simple. It's like to the tipping point of you can manage. That is what the simple answer. And in a formal way, when we have a bigger agreement with the client, okay, they need a separate team for managing all stuff. Okay, so do you have a DevOps team? Okay, they will keep on asking. Okay, now now I understand. Now you are working in a full stack mode. Okay, so the developer will do everything. Okay, but in a bigger scale, you can't do that because of the work. Okay, creating environment and coding it, and once you are starting the production, it may be breaking on the coding point and maybe breaking the UI side or the middle layer. Anything can break. Okay, one single team can't manage everything. Okay, so that time you need a delegation. Okay, how you delegate? You segregate and teams between. Okay, that is how all the teams will come. Okay, there will be a dev team, there will be a maintenance team, there will be a DevOps team, there will be a networking team, like that. Okay, so how much is the effort? The effort is heavy, then you have more teams.
Yeah, I got that actually. So I work in a product-based company mainly. So we ourselves is a like we function as a way that we don't have to require anything extra from outside environments. But my way of thinking that what point of time I'll be actually requiring to to hire a DevOps or make a DevOps dedicated team. You answered it already. So my concern was really into that from last over a period of time we were able to automate everything that came in our way, like all the things that is required, all the load balancing or all the deployment, everything we automated. So that even when we think that maybe infra has to be updated, we do that regular basis. So we didn't have to till now make a DevOps team dedicatedly so that we have delegated. So that was my concern. Like, what point of time should I take a decision?
I'm telling. See, that is why the first point what we discussed. Okay, so the DevOps team is the one who is keeping other teams in a single thread. Okay, so maybe one team, okay, the UI team, okay, maybe they just develop on the UI team, okay, they will more fascinated about the pixels, how much the look and like, okay, and it may be break, okay, even the code layer can break, and DB team can break, but if you have a DevOps team, okay, so they know what is break, what is already broken, which team has to contact, instead of going here and there. Okay, I'm not talking about very small team. Okay, but that even we were in Litmus 7. We started. It's a very small team when we were in a startup team kind, startup company kind of stuff. We know each other, but when we are that huge number of people, we don't know other people are doing. Okay, we can't manage all this 400 people, right? So there will be process we need. Okay, we need to keep a ticketing system. Okay, so there will be some owners. Okay, you can't take all the responsibility or the blames. So that is how, if comes into a process, then you need DevOps team. Okay, say for example, suppose one alert comes. Okay, the DB, some of the pool is going in a threshold. Okay, maybe the UI guy who is looking into that may not understand what kind of error it is, but obviously the DevOps guy will understand which part it is broken. So immediately he will call the DB guy, hey, your thing is breaking. Okay, so immediately he can open a bridge and solve it as soon as possible. So SLA time will come down instead of going around and around.
Yeah, actually makes sense. Yeah, proper SLAs and proper process for that. I think
Yes.
you will need this. Yeah, here actually we all individually take responsibility. I don't think that will scale, because after a point of time, the delegations or the SLAs might not meet
Yes.
the right time.
Also, if you go for an ISO certification or something, especially there will be point. Okay, who is owning your admin access, or your primary, who is giving, okay, the access, or who is keep on tracking on your monitoring your other people's stuff. Uh, if everything is you, you're definitely not going to get the ISO.
Right. Yeah. Thanks, dude.
Also, just like Krishna mentioned earlier, if you need a constant monitoring to your systems, it's always better to have a team of DevOps.
Yeah. I'm looking for that actually. I was just thinking, what point of time should we actually going for that? Like, it's an expensive team, right? Like, just like DevOps, right now we manage with developers, multiple developers, a team having multiple domain access, and they themselves have some access to separate domains. Like, for example, one team has one deployment environment, and they are on respective DB and everything. So their team just manages that. But yeah, when comes to the centralized system where we need to contact one team and finally have a resolution from their SLAs and all, I think it makes really sense to have a DevOps team. Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Okay. So moving forward, I can see Rajchand and Ramesh Kumar also joined us, and also there are multiple persons called Rafiq and Swati. Everybody joined. So Swati is also working on a DevOps perspective. So Swati, if you want to add some more points over here, you are actually we are happy to welcome you to add more points.
Hey, I'm sorry. Actually, I joined it late, basically, so I didn't understand what all the things has been already discussed. But if you have any specific questions, I think Krishna Kumar already explained everything about the process and the culture, everything. So I think I'm good. If there is any specific questions, I'm happy to answer that.
Great, great. Thanks, Swati. So I can let me move with Rajchand. So Rajchand Pillai, you can just unmute and you can just if you have any doubts you can ask, otherwise if you are wish to add something on the DevOps side, if you are a DevOps person you can.
Thanks, Hariram. Basically, I'm not a DevOps guy, but I was just listening to what the folks were telling here, and it's quite informative. I do have some knowledge about AWS, but as an overall guy, I mean, I did the certification recently and all. So I just wanted to comment on what people was asking initially. So I think the solution or the answer to his problem lies with the question itself, because being a developer, you know when you are getting stressed out or when you are getting deviated from your work, and getting into problem solving issues with build and also, right, the core response, you are deviating from your core responsibilities, irrespective of the number of people in your team. I would say you cannot tally with the numbers, but it's about the amount of work that you are having on your plate, and uh, and the time you are spending on solving build issues and things like that. So I mean, basically, it's about the work that you have. You need to have a separate person who is qualified, who is expert. It may not be a big team, but one or two guys among your team can devote some time for that. But obviously, they have to be accounted for.
Yeah, I mean, we have this on-call policy where once in a week, one guy will be on call and he'll take responsibility for entire servers and everything. So he's a guy kind of a watchman, like he'll be a developer among our team itself, but we'll have cycles. So any failure or anything, yeah. So he'll take responsibility of the entire. So he's the guy who cannot sleep, like when the call comes.
That's right. On-call guys are always like that.
Yeah,
that's a good strategy. Yeah, that's a good strategy for small companies. But even for small companies, having a person dedicated will always offload your attention. But you can concentrate on your core stuff rather than on the other background activities. So that it makes sense.
Yeah, and we want to ensure that other developers are sleeping peacefully, so that once in a week the one guy will be that, like every week other guy will be changing. So yeah, but it's also like everybody is getting knowledge about all the server and what's happening in our scale and everything. So everybody get to know what's really happening in and out of company.
Right.
Cool.
Right,
yeah. Okay, great. So if you are actually answered, maybe I can just move with Ramesh Kumar.
Hi, this is Ramesh. Actually, I am basically in the embedded side, so and mostly working in the side, so don't have much understanding on and all. Just that's why I'm just observing the industry.
Great.
8 years back and all, I was into Team City or this kind of tools, and this is
Sorry, whether I'm the only person lost him.
if I come across some doubts, I will ask. That's all.
Okay, fine.
Okay, yeah, TeamCity is also a good one for build management and continuous integration. It's from JetBrains, right? Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Yeah. Any
Yeah, I can see
questions?
Manu. You have any queries or you want to add anything, Manu?
Yeah, I have a question. See, mainly, I know that there are so many good DevOps engineers in the club. So, what is your take on when to use Docker, when not to use Docker when it comes to deployment? What are your thoughts? I mean, anybody can answer, just an open-ended question.
First of all, see Docker. Why we are using Docker is the first question. Okay, see, it's like, okay, when we create one VM, okay, and it's very less utilized. Okay, so we need another functionality in the same time. Instead of we need to spin up another VM, we can use Dockerize the environment. Because of that, we can use the same VM and same powers. With the effectiveness of 2 VM in a single system. Okay. So that is what Docker will provide. And nowadays everything is going to microservices, right? So microservices, like it's split up in a small part. Okay. So by Docker we can reduce the cost of spinning up the first advantage. Other than that, deployment. In a deployment, as the Docker give the facility to create an image. So you can directly deploy the image to the 1 minute I'm getting directly deploy the image as an artifact to the deployment targets. So it is easily manageable. That is one thing.
I would like to add one. I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I would like to add one more thing, like the Docker image, it contains the dependencies also, like if we have any kind of environment dependence, like we need distillation of framework, something is there like the Docker itself containing the image itself containing all the dependencies. So we can easily deploy that with the dependencies. We don't need to download other environment stuff.
Yeah, integration is easy. Okay, like okay, as even operating system also we are keeping it as an image, not at all a problem. In the top of that, everything installed. So that is you can move it here and there. Okay, so image if you go, okay, depends upon again it depends upon your code how you the movability factor. Okay, you can go with the image to the production QA prod. Okay, deploy it anywhere that called. Okay, it's I don't know how your architect designed it, but Docker gives that luxury of deploy it anywhere.
And if I'm not wrong, like the Windows environment, we can deploy the Linux.
Yeah, you need an additional layer on the Docker.
I have a subsequent question on that. Yeah, I get it that it's very easy, even especially if you are bundling everything into Docker. But if you look at most of the deployments, the initial set, the cost of all this environment is just a one-time job, right? Let's take an example. If you're building a web server where you have Nginx and let's say you have some Ruby code running. Okay, so initially you may need to set up RVMs and you may need to install the right Nginx, etc. After that, it's all about you're rolling out the features, right? So I somehow feel that in this kind of scenarios, it's much better to go with, especially things like when we have facilities like AWS. Why would someone choose to have a machine with multiple Docker instances versus spawning out few EC2 instances? So I'm trying to understand why.
First of all, see, there is a concept. Okay, see how much you fascinate about new technology, whether it is we need it or not. Okay, it's like see, Docker is not for the small project. Okay, Docker is for how the complex big project, like which we can't. We have n number of microservices, n number of integrations, all these things. Okay, if we have straightly manageable stuff, don't go for a Docker. We don't need more. How this complexity comes in, if your project comes as a complex scenario, okay, you need more integrations, more complex business ask. Okay, then only this complexity comes. Otherwise, I always prefer do it very simple.
No, I think Manu, I think what your question was about the initial cost, and if you don't need that for long time, why should we put the money initially on infrastructure or on the container services like this, right, Manu?
Yeah, I mean, I have two things actually. First of all, I thought.
No, okay, I understood. Okay, that's if I want to explain to that part. So in AWS, at least we have something called as ECS, Elastic Container Storage. That means it is completely managed. That means on based on your need, you have a small requirement. It will suit for that. Automatically, it will scale up and scale down. It's completely managed. So that is the advantage. So you don't have to worry about when your requirement is less, you are not going to use that infrastructure. It will automatically scale down. So when you have a managed Docker services, especially in AWS, that's called as
Involved. I have a few more questions if nobody else have, but otherwise I'll wait.
No worries, Manu. Just go ahead because we need. This is actually a discussion we are actually taking forward to clear all our doubts. Yeah. So Manu, you can.
Yeah. So again, I'm kind of circling back around the same question. So in my understanding, Docker is more fit for a smaller project, but somebody mentioned that it's other way around. That is, Docker is more fit for a bigger project. So again, I'm coming back to my same question. See, once you let's say a project. Let's say you're building an application called Twitter or Facebook. Initially, you need to set up all these web servers. You need to set up some DB, some caching, right? Once you set that, then you may be doing some kind of feature releases on a daily basis or even many times a day, right? When you're rolling, and if you put containerization or Dockerization, isn't it going to be more time consuming rather than a developer using some tools to push the code, whether it's any tool, right? And just push it and just push his code directly and periodically deploy to all the servers, versus you build a Docker instance, even if you just make one line of code, then re-image everything and putting into the server. So definitely I know that there can be some scenarios where Dockerization is well fitting. I'm just trying to understand that. Sorry for dragging the question.
Yeah, Anu, you want to answer?
Yeah. So if you're going with the microservices, right? So for example, I just explain one use case. So we have around 50 microservices, and we need to deploy in like around each microservice. We need to deploy in like 5 or 6 production environment. So based on the why we are keeping this much of production environment is nothing but based on the load balancing or other stuff. We need to keep like this. So in that time, okay. So as a developer, okay, suppose 5 microservice they commit the code to deploying in all 5 into 3, 15 production environment. We need to put the code, or we need to put the complete package. So that will take too much of time consuming, right? When we are going for the microservice technologies, So in that time when we have the Docker, right? So it is just keep putting into the Docker image. Okay, so parallel it will deploy everywhere at the same time.
But you are building you're putting the code into one Docker image, and after that you're going to redeploy this image everywhere, right? So it's the effort remains the same. In the first example you mentioned, you're just pushing just the code. The second example, you're just pushing the entire Docker image itself, right? So what are we saving here?
Manu, I think you got a little bit wrong assumption on Docker. Looks like I think.
Oh, I see. Maybe. Okay. I'm not a DevOps. Yeah. So if you could elaborate, how is it different? See, let me take the same example. Okay. Me being a developer today, I'm working on some feature, and let's say I just changed one line where I'm adding an extra SQL query. Okay, that's all what I changed. Okay, instead of I was coding before the whole TV, scanning the whole table. Running. So you have two ways. One is you can use some deployment tools, and then you can push the code one by one to each of the servers. And of course, you are going to have some staging servers first. You make sure that everything works, then you just propagate to all the servers. First option. The second option is using Docker. In that case, you're going to build. You have a Docker image registry somewhere. You're going to build it, and you're going to put your new code. You're going to have a new image ID. Then this image you're going to push it to all the 100 servers, 100 places, or it could be one server, wherever these 100 instances my application server is running, right? Did I understood it wrongly?
Yeah, carry on. Yeah, so you have 100 surveys, you need to push it in a single pipeline, and that's what you're saying?
Anju, എന്താടി
Manu?
പുറത്ത് എന്താ അറിയോ?
Hello?
Manu, you are on mute. Manu.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I was talking actually and I was on mute. So let's say, again, I'm coming back to the same scenario. The first scenario, I might, let's say, if I'm a Ruby on Rails developer, then I can use something like Capistrano, and I might just push it to all the servers, right? Or I may have some tools. Versus, if I'm using Docker, if I'm going with Docker, I still need to rebuild the image. My image is a server, and then from there, once I build it, I need to put this into a very replace it with all my existing 100 applications. Correct?
Yeah.
So where are we in my first case scenario? It is a very simple. It's a very lightweight. I'm just pushing one or two files. Whereas in the second case, I'm pushing maybe 100 or 200 or 300 MB of image, depending on my server application, to my bare metal server. Correct. So I'm trying to understand how do you decide? I'm sure Docker has a good use case. I'm trying to find out that.
Yeah. Here, your scenario. Hello, Manu. Yeah. Yeah. Manu. See, you told okay, you have 100 servers. Okay. And now the question back to you is like, okay, are you fully 100% or maybe above 90% are you utilizing all these 100 servers? If yes, you may not need these Dockers at all, but still you have 50 percentage or maybe less than that, you're utilizing it in a daily way. You can put these numbers to 50 actually. As you can put Dockers on 50 systems, your stuff will be work same as it is. Okay, so you gradually reduce your VM cost to 50% here. Okay, so that is how Docker comes into place, because instead of hypervisors in the system resource, we can use more efficient way. Okay, so instead of this virtualizing hardware, the containers rest in top of it and act as a VM. Okay, so that is how the Docker helps. Okay, so again, they themselves, it's having a continuous integration deployment stuff. Okay, because it's encourage the developer to integrate their code in a standard way and deploy it as an image. Okay, so it is deployable easy to everywhere instead of pushing here and there. Okay, it's again, if you want keep somebody some system is open, you can put it as a one part. Okay, 50 percentage is in one data center and another one is in another data center, not at all a problem. So this is a lightweight, and as I before told, okay, you can move it anywhere. Okay, only one time you need to create. If your system is efficient, even the dev build also you can put it in QA. Once QA is say go, then you can put it in production also, not at all a problem. Okay, you don't need too much effort.
Yeah, I buy that. Especially, I see one advantage. Like you said, if I'm using 100 instances and suddenly if I need to reduce, it's more easy for me to just bring down 50 instances and reduce my resource. But still, how is that different from using EC2? I mean, I can do the same thing with EC2, right? I can have 100 in a medium level, let's say compute optimized instances, 100 of them, and if I see that my server is not consuming, I can just shut down 50 of them. Versus, why would I again go with this Docker instance? But yeah, I do see that value.
Just a quick question. Sorry, so this is Swati here. So Manu, I just wanted to understand. So what kind of technology you are using at the moment? Is that like so first decision comes actually whether you need a microservice kind of architecture before you go with the Docker or containerized option. So before you have to take a call whether is it a good is it going to be giving you an advantage if you are moving to a Dockerized or a microservice kind of architecture. I think actually now we are talking about a legacy architecture. You have everything in a single server where, yeah, because I'm giving an example. If you wanted to further break down an application, like have different modules, like you need a payment as a different service and different services together, then actually the advantage comes if you wanted to make a changes to the payment module. You don't have to keep everything down, or you don't have to depend on the other services. In case if your payment service goes down, you can only work on it. So first thing actually the decision should come whether you is it going to be giving an advantage if you're moving to a microservice architecture. If not, your option is correct because you can still continue with an EC2 installing everything on a single server and managing it over well. But then if it is a second option, then that is the second topic will come actually.
Yeah, actually, I don't know how much. Again, the moderator can cut me off anytime if I'm taking too much time of everyone.
Yeah, sorry, just a quick no, no, Manu, maybe I can see Sharath and Tanu is waiting for their queries. So can I come to
Absolutely,
you? Can I come to you after Sharath and Tanu?
absolutely, yes, yes.
Fine. Thanks, Manu. Yeah, Sharath, go ahead.
Yeah, Hari. So regarding the question, Manu, on Dockers, I mean, it's more to manage the dev dependencies as well. For example, if I'm a Python developer, I work on multiple services that have multiple Python installations. Then I can't just manage that in my local machine. For that purpose, the Docker is one of the best use cases. Like you are actually tying up your dev dependencies with the artifact so that you don't need to change the system configurations every time you are building or running your app. So everything is kind of packaged in a, like it's like an off the shelf thing. Like you can just pull the image and run your app, it will come up. You don't need to change the Python version, or you don't need to do any environment level changes. So that is one of the scenarios where you Docker is one of the best solutions for that. Another advantage is if the system is like very large, like if you are having kind like 150 plus microservices, then it is very hard to manage it using the VMs. Like you need that much amount of machine to run those services. So if we have that in container, then you can deploy a Kubernetes and run all your app on top of the Kubernetes. So these are one, I mean, couple of advantages of using Docker.
Great, thanks.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, Manu. Uh, can I move to Tanu?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, Tanu, please.
Yeah. Hi. My name is Tanushu. I am an infrastructure architect. Actually, I just want to tell the same what Sharath said because he was telling hundred of EC2 instance if you are deploying in AWS. So instead of using a EC2 instance, why you can't use the EKS there? There is Elastic Kubernetes services there. So we can deploy thousands of pods. I mean that containers, which will help you to do the different type of application deployment as well as the version whenever you want to change the version of the application. So that will help you because you want to pay thousands of hundred of EC2 instance, that will be too much amount of money. But the EKS will help you. EKS means the Kubernetes and Docker will help you to do the rest of the things. That is what one of the suggestion I can provide, because you are looking only the Docker. So Docker doesn't have any high availability. If you want, you're looking orchestration and scaling. That will help you the Kubernetes.
Got it.
Yeah.
I
Thank you.
see. Thank you.
And I have just a basic question. Just maybe it's a very basic thing. Like for creating the Dockers and the Docker containers, we would actually require a Linux machine. So how exactly we can plan like the team members, like the other developers, like the backend and front end, the UI team will be creating the Dockers since they are actually using a Windows machine. Is there any possibility to use some virtual boxes or something for that to create Dockers and push their code? Or is it actually a DevOps person can create a Docker container and only just the developer can push the code? Maybe asking a basic question, so somebody can.
Hey, Hari, this is Sharat.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, Docker installations are available in Windows. Okay, so if your developer want your code to be deployed in a Docker, you can use Docker for Windows to install that on a Windows machine and test this. And regarding the image building, that is more of a, I mean, that part comes in the CI area. Like when you build that particular artifact out of the code, there we are doing the Dockerization step.
Okay, so you are saying like in the local machine itself, there we can actually create the. I mean, so they can actually build it and they can actually test it, right? Before pushing to the containers. Is it? I think Sharath is on mute. Okay, yeah, almost. I'm actually clear on that part. So I can see Om Mama just recently joined us. So if you have any queries to ask on the DevOps side, or maybe if you want to add something more on this part, you are most welcome. Okay, I think he's on mute. Okay, so Kishomar, yeah, we can go ahead. Maybe
Yeah, I think that I answered the question.
yes.
One question.
Yeah, Rafik.
How many Docker images we can build on one on top of one OS?
Docker image is we are deploy. It's not Docker image. Docker image is like the artifact, okay, or maybe
Sorry, Docker.
Okay.
Not image.
Okay, see, Docker, it depends upon your capability of the system, or maybe you can say the standard or how much resource you want from a single system. Like, say, for example, I have very minimal stuff of CPU utilization or the utilization part of the entire operating system you need. You can put it more number of container on top of it, but that you need to decide how much my program will take, or maybe the software will take.
I can just add a point if you want.
Yeah.
It is like actually, so just imagine you have a machine with 4 CPU and 4 GB RAM, and there are options to the images in the containers. You can allocate a space, actually how much my container should use. So if you are giving a 200 MB and 1 CPU or whatever it is a total calculation actually how much it is. This number of images which can accommodate that is the total resource consumption it's going to be. So you can allocate how much space your application is going to use. Based on that, your hardware or the EC2 instance will consume that usage. So that many containers, that many number of containers you can run on that platform.
Great. Yeah, and I think Tanu also want to add something more, right? Tanushu?
Yeah, actually, both they have already told you, because based on your system performance, system load, how you configure the system. So that fact is the main thing here. So nothing like if you are telling you have 10 Dockers are running. I mean that the 10 applications are running in the Docker. So if you have a good amount of RAM and CPU, and so you can run a number of applications. That is what only I
am once again, I am asking from the point of view of cloud, that is AWS or Azure. They have set any hard limit. That is this number of maybe 250 or like that. Any hard limit?
Nothing.
If you come to the Kubernetes, there is a hard limit. So if you look into the Kubernetes cluster, there is a 500 pods or something like that. They have a hard limit in the cluster. So you need to scale up your nodes. I mean the physical nodes.
Okay, right. Because the beauty of that, this is from the perspective of hardware cost and OS licensing. There is a very big advantage. That's what I want to check. So once again, because earlier we have to see when physical server we are hosting in the data center inside itself, how many servers we require. We have to purchase this much server, then this much OS licenses, then this much the cost will be increased in the point of view of infrastructure and hardware. But then come the virtualization. That is also in terms of OS and from server part. So one single server we can install multiple. Now the containerization, I think it seems to be good for, it's creating an application environment with multiple dependent application come together to single. So from that point of view, it's a very huge cost saving, I think.
Okay, I would like to raise an open-ended question here. So we have mentioned about the monitoring of the DevOps and the resources, right? So there are various monitoring systems like resource monitoring, network monitoring, application monitoring, like that. So what are the tools are you guys using currently for this monitoring purposes? Like mentioned, Prometheus, New Relic, Nagios. So if you guys are using any particular tools for this monitoring purpose, it would be helpful for to share.
Kibana is one tool which you can use actually.
So Kibana is more like a BI tool.
So it comes with the EFK stack actually. Elasticsearch, Kibana. And it is by default the Kubernetes have a Prometheus and Fluent is there for the logging.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Kibana can be used on top of Elasticsearch, right? So
yes,
we use Elasticsearch for log monitoring and log keeping. Yeah, Krishna.
I was just telling. Okay. ELK plus Kibana is a good combo for monitoring your containers.
Fine. So is it?
Just to add to that.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Yeah. So you can utilize. I mean, if you're running on your app on the Kubernetes, then you can utilize Istio service mesh for tracing and all that, so that we can identify the problem.
Yeah, Istio we use to create the mesh, right? Basically to manage the traffic between these containers.
Yeah, I mean it provides some other options like Kylie and all.
Yes. Okay, but most of the times for monitoring what we are looking for, or most of the developers looking for, they need an alert. Okay, they want to know what is happening on a picture. Okay, so that is why dashboard comes into picture. Okay, so that is why I told. Okay, so we have tried many combos. Okay, so many of the clients prefer this ELK plus Kibana is their favorite one. So that is why I told it as a first.
Yeah, that is for the log monitoring, log aggregations, right?
Hello.
Can I add some points here?
Yeah, sure. We'll come to you.
Okay. For monitoring, as Krishna Kumar mentioned, we can use ELK. If you are using ELK stack from the Kubernetes, you can push logs as well as metrics to Elasticsearch and use Kibana as a dashboard for monitoring or viewing the metrics. That's one option. If you are using if you are running your Kubernetes environment in AWS, you can also use container CloudWatch container insights. By using that one, you can push all the logs and metrics to CloudWatch itself. So from CloudWatch, you can monitor and view all the logs. And there are some additional third-party options available like Datadog, New Relic, etc. If you are using these kind of tools, the entire things, logging, monitoring, alerting, tracing, everything can be done using these kind of third-party tools. But in that case, cost will be an decision-making factor. And if you are looking for just a dashboard to monitor Kubernetes environment, Kubernetes do provide a dashboard. In addition to that, there is a tool called Ranger. If you are deploying Ranger, just import your Kubernetes cluster into Ranger. From there, you can manage everything. Basically, you can administrate the cluster and you can monitor the cluster, and everything that you are doing using kubectl, you can done using Ranger. It's an open source tool. It's really helpful. Multiple clusters can be imported into a single Ranger, and multiple clusters can be managed using a single tool.
Yeah, even Prometheus and Grafana also a good one for containers.
Yeah, I missed that one.
Yeah.
And regarding the service mesh, it's actually when it comes to managing multiple services, service mesh is one option. It provide one second.
It provides several advantages like traffic shaping, traffic monitoring, then security. When services are talking to each other inside a Kubernetes cluster, for example, service A is talking to service B, that internal connection can be secured using service mesh. And service mesh also provide metrics, traces, and all logs related to this inside the cluster communication. So service mesh will come into a upper layer. Just for infrastructure monitoring, use the other tools. If you want to get additional metrics from a service point of view, use service mesh.
Hey, Digits, thank you. This is Om. Can I have few questions on this?
Yeah, you're using a headset, it seems. Will you please remove your headset?
Yes.
Your voice is very feeble.
Hello? Am I
Yes,
audible?
yes, it's better now.
So, it's related to dashboard. Purely
Correct.
talking from a project management,
Yeah,
program management perspective.
prime
So,
video
was
ഇല്ലല്ലോ
looking at a
മറ്റേ
dashboard.
മാറ്റിയില്ലേ
If anybody have used and wanted to understand
എടുക്കാം
what all types of dashboard, especially open source,
നെറ്റ്
that we
വരുന്നില്ല
can
അവൻ
plug
ടെസ്റ്റ്
into
ചെയ്യാൻ
our uh, Scrum board or the dev instance, so that you could showcase to the executive teams, sharing that how and when the uh,
പക്ക
check-ins are
ടെക്നിക്കൽ
happening
ഡെവോപ്സിൽ
properly, what
അവനോട്
is
ആരോ
the
പറഞ്ഞു ഡെവോപ്സ് എടുത്ത്
average check-in rate of
അതുകൊണ്ടാണ്
a
ഇത്
particular
വെച്ചത്
team, and so on.
അടിപൊളി ടീം
Any suggestions?
സംസാരിക്കാൻ പറ്റിയ സ്വാധീനം നമ്മുടെ സ്വാധീനല്ലേ പുള്ളിയൊക്കെ അതിൻ്റെ
What is that actual requirement?
To showcase how the teams are progressing on their DevOps, especially we would have tickets associated with the team, right? For a Scrum team, you want something to showcase for the executive team members to see how the check-ins are happening for each team, so that we can understand, team is progressing as per the sprint target or things like those.
Okay, so basically you want to tell to your management scene that okay, how many deployments happened in the last week, or maybe this sprint, okay, or the upcoming sprint, how much you want to plan for it, like.
Yeah.
I have one suggestion for that. I think you can use a Trello. Trello is one of the dashboard that you can track and trace the resources and the deployment. But this is kind of a manual update actually. You need to.
Okay. So, is there any GitHub links that plugins that we can use, so that all the DevOps apps, DevOps, real-time information is being displayed?
If you are using a GitHub Actions or Jenkins and all, no, you can set up that status to your team. Because that is the one it is doing deployment, right? So you can take the status from that.
Fine. I can see multiple persons joined over here, like Baiju, Unishan and all. So Unishan, you have any queries?
Hey, Hari, no, right. I don't have any query. I just joined, and that time, actually, I want to respond to one question, but this already answered.
Oh, great. Maybe if you want to add or if you want to enlighten more on that part, you can actually you can go ahead. No worries.
Okay, right now, no. I will add. I'll add on later.
Great, great. Thanks, Uni. Okay, so Baiju, yeah.
Hey, even now I joined. I thought I can ask a question.
Great. Yeah, just to add a point over here, like regarding this clubhouse, like this other place to talk is actually we are means this club actually we are conducting so many technical discussions like this. So I request all of you to follow me and means follow other place to talk, so that we can take such discussions moving forward also, because right now I can see almost 90% of the speakers in this panel are related to DevOps, and they're really means experienced people. So it will really help the others, like in the audience as well as in the speaker list, speaker panel as well. It will really help us together. So I would like to take such discussion, technical discussions moving forward as well. So if all are interested, maybe we can conduct this type of a connection. I mean, so we can actually discuss such progress measures on a weekly basis, like on a Sunday, just the same time, like 11 to 12, just 1 hour. Like we can actually go through with the possibilities of DevOps. So right now we are actually discuss the importance of DevOps. Next week actually we can maybe discuss more on the tools and how we can monitor the issues in DevOps, and if something fails, how we can monitor, etc. So we know that we have limitations over here to share things or maybe to display things and all, but maybe this type of discussions will always be very fruitful. So I just want to put a word over here. What you all think? Maybe I can come with one by one. Like Krishnamar, are you fine with this discussion?
Yeah. I'm okay with
No
any
sound
kind
right.
of
No
discussions
sound
which
right.
will help for others.
Great. Yeah. So
Hey,
Anu,
Harry,
yeah, yeah.
it is happening on a weekly basis or a daily basis?
Actually, on a daily basis, we were conducting 11 to 12 sessions. That's actually last 1 week we discussed about the Agile Scrum project management methodology, and we discussed about the Agile principles and Scrum events, Scrum roles. Each day we actually discuss one point. So last 1 week we were discussing about the Scrum. So I prefer like maybe on a daily basis it will be actually very different for you people to join because of your means your work culture and because of this new work from home scenario. I don't know how much it is actually possible for everyone to join at the same time, because some of you are working from morning and somebody of you are actually working evenings, somebody of you are working at late night. So I don't know how much actually it is okay to schedule our discussion from 11 to 12. If everybody is fine at 11 to 12, maybe we can go with that. I'm okay with this 11 to 12 on a daily basis. Or if it's a weekend basis, Sunday actually everybody can, means everybody will be on a free mood, right? So what you all think?
Yeah, 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 correct. I think Sunday is better for me because from 11 to 12, I'm not sure I can join, but I think Sunday it is fine
ഒന്ന് സൗണ്ട്
for me.
ഒന്ന് സൗണ്ട് കഴിയാറേ തീർക്കേ. Yeah, so Om Varma, you want to add something?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I was requesting, right? I have heard not many experts speaking on DevOps. So was thinking of, eventually would it be possible? So just pitching in the idea that
ഋഗ്വേദാണ് ചോദിച്ചത്, ഞാൻ കണ്ടതാണ്.
can we
ഋഗ്വേദാണ്
host an
പഠിച്ചത്, ഞാൻ ഇതാണ്
online
ഇന്നലെ തൊട്ട്
coding
പറഞ്ഞത്.
dojo kind of similar activities
അത്
for
അവനോട്
DevOps?
പറഞ്ഞെടുത്ത് വയ്ക്കാൻ,
Just putting it.
ഇന്നലെ തൊട്ട് ഞാൻ പറയണത് എടുക്കരുതെന്ന്.
Is it possible in Clubhouse? Like we can't
No,
do anything here.
we cannot do it in Clubhouse.
മിണ്ടായില്ലേ?
Probably after we do a 3 to 4 sessions around this, we could host some Zoom or some with invite. Just after hearing all your expert opinions on different areas, I was thinking of that.
Yeah, I'm always fine for extending this to multiple levels. So Kishomar and maybe many persons. So Adi, maybe we can make use of some other tools, right? So Adi?
Yes, we can do that. Yes.
Yeah, so there are a lot of tools like available over here. Like maybe if you want, like, we can go for some Google meeting or maybe some Zoom, or maybe we have some other means software. So Saudi, you want to add on something on that part?
Yeah. So I have my own. Yeah. So we are actually a startup. Actually, we have created our own solution. Basically, it is like a similar to Zoom and Teams. So we have a customized environment. Even we can have these sessions over there as well if you prefer.
Awesome. Great.
Yeah, that is actually I actually tried that part, so that's why I actually called Saudi over here, because it is really nice and we can even share the things and all. So how I
Yeah, and I
suggest,
can
like,
add one point. I
yeah,
can add so that solution is completely using all. I think there's an echo coming. I guess. Yeah. Okay. So this solution which we developed is completely running on the latest DevOps technologies, including the complete CI/CD pipelines, and it is completely running with Kubernetes with a scalable environment, like all the monitoring in place, like what we discussed, like Prometheus and the ELK stack and the Istio. Everything is already added in that, so it will be a good sessions. Like actually, if you wanted to know more details about it, I can go ahead and explain. Yeah. And because actually, there was a question being asked about the monitoring, so I had some points. But if you have time, I can even discuss about it now, or we can do it later as well.
Yeah,
Because how we did that.
yeah, we can maybe actually add it now because we have actually some more time to spend or to clarify those points. We can add that, and it will be
Yeah, because
great if you can actually
yeah.
yeah share a thought like the link maybe for the next week like that 11 o'clock maybe we will join over here and maybe or otherwise we will actually add the link in our profile like I can add that joining link in my profile if you want. So next week actually maybe we can join over a other platform other than Clubhouse, so we can share our screen and we can discuss more on that part if you all are fine again.
Yes, I'm absolutely fine.
Okay. So I'm actually just asking this as an opening question to Krishnamar, Anurag, and Jasil, means Rafiq, everybody. Yes. Like, are you all fine to move with the? Yeah.
Yeah, that seems to be fine. But I'll suggest that first we will meet here, and then if a requirement for this, that is, if someone is taking a what we can say half an hour section or something with a good explanation and screen sharing and everything, we can move to another platform. That seems to be fine.
Great. Okay.
And the timing, what I'm recommending is that on daily basis, if everybody is interested, we can go for a strict 1 hour section, and Sunday we can go for a prime section. That's maybe for a selected topic like that, or maybe continuation of a selected topic with a prime section. During prime section, if anybody interested for a presentation who is very good in that, we can go for Google Meet or whatever it may be.
Exactly. So 1 hour session, I'm okay with 11 to 12. If all are fine, 11 to 12. Are you all okay about your work culture and if any?
11 p.m. to 12?
No, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. in the morning. Or evenings if you want to move that to evening maybe we can take it late evenings like means many I can see many people are actually working on evenings, so they will be free by around 8 or 8:30 and somebody are actually free by around 9:30. So that's what I'm asking. So this is an opponent, so anybody having any concerns on taking this type of sessions on a daily basis at 11 to 12 morning, so please let us know right now.
Yeah, one thing I have to add, you're planning to continue with your agile. I think it's completed agile, or you're
Yeah.
planning to continue with that.
No, Agile actually we completed on Agile in the sense Scrum is actually we completed. So Monday onwards, maybe means previously one person joined, Jayakumar joined, and he actually told us like he is really expert in means he is conducting a SAP related things. So maybe we can conduct those type of discussions, or maybe if somebody of you are interested to take some discussions, I'm happy to actually conduct those things. Otherwise, we'll discuss something on the project management technology. Means if you want to more on safe agile, so we can include more people like Krishoma and somebody Shamli or somebody was joined earlier, right? So we'll try to contact them on the safe agile part, and I will add them too. So it's purely means based on our this core team. Like maybe we can connect. I have shared my and I have added my details in my profile, so you can contact me over WhatsApp or whatever possible ways. So we can share or we can create those type of discussions over here. So if any concerns on 11 to 1 for all, like you are actually you can take sessions and you can actually come with some discussion points on a daily basis. Just a 1 hour, like 11 to 12, we'll meet over here on every day morning, and at sharp 12 we'll wind up. We'll plan it accordingly.
But will it possible for people who is working once once this COVID things are over, then people will be at their work, right? So will they be able to join?
Yeah, that's a so for time being actually I think everybody will be okay. So even after the offices restart, I don't know what will be the means the future of Clubhouse as well because nobody will be yeah.
Hey, Hari, I have a question.
Sure.
What is this ADA stands for?
Sorry.
What is ADA stands for? ADDA. What is this
Ada is
name
actually
stands for?
it's actually an Hindi word. Ada. Ada is actually Hindi word where exactly the people will gather together to discuss something. It's
Oh,
actually a coffee place, like a coffee
okay,
coffee house. Yeah.
okay.
So I actually was searching for some name where exactly the place the people can come and talk on technology and also on politics and entertainment, art, culture, everything. We were actually talking on various topics. So I
Okay, so
actually
you're
found a
not
name.
just limited to software
No,
technologies.
no,
Can
no.
be.
We can bring anything over here.
Okay,
If you are interested on politics, we can bring it. If you are interested on entertainment or art, or if you are actually a person who can means teach something to the other team members, you are actually welcome over here. We can conduct anything, and we are actually giving provision to create room for everybody who joined our other place to talk club. So we are actually not
nice.
limited for anything. We will talk
Nice.
anything under the sun, not above the sun.
Good.
So I think this today this was a really a great session because we got a lot of time to discuss on the basic things, and we got a lot of questions even from the experienced people. We heard many things, and we clarified many questions from here. So if it's actually on a daily basis, we will be winding up with very short things. Like in the last 1 week we were discussing only small topics, like one day we took only scrum roles, and next day we took about the scrum events. So everything we know that that's actually not a big topic, but everything actually was there to talk for 1 hour. So like that sort of things, we'll take only a small portion to discuss for a day, and we can actually clarify the doubts the people are asking, and we can clarify it, maybe we can actually discuss more about that, and we will sharpen our skills and technology. So that's what I meant with these sessions. So if all are fine for now, maybe until unless the offices restart, we can maybe go with this 11 to 12 on a daily basis. If any concerns, please unmute and raise your voice. Silence means okay, we are actually accepting that, right? Okay, so I'll be scheduling a meeting from. Yeah, Krishna, you want to add something?
No, nothing. I just said okay.
Okay, fine. So I'm actually scheduling a meeting at.
I would like to add one point.
Yeah, sure.
From the perspective of an organizer, from my experience of conducting events in AWS User Group Kochi, Clubhouse is a really new thing. That's why people are coming here and attending all these sessions. But if we add more and more sessions, people will eventually start losing their interest, and will the number of audience will be coming down over a period of time. So I think it will be better if we can focus. For example, if you're talking about DevOps or technological stuff, schedule one day in a week. On that particular day, talk about DevOps only. Then in that case, everyone interested in DevOps will come and join on that day. Otherwise, there are lots of rooms are going on. Most of these talks are repeated sessions. Like yesterday there was some DevOps kind of talks. Even before joining this club, I was talking in another club. There also we were talking about microservices and DevOps kinds of things. So people will eventually lose their interest. We need to something to keep them attracted in this club. In that way, we need to organize something.
That's a good suggestion, Dijesh. So maybe we can actually limit such sort of things, like on a maybe on a particular day we will discuss about DevOps, and another day we will discuss about some other things, like separately, like on the development side, or maybe some technology, or on some other day we will be discussing about the project management methodologies. So like that actually we can eventually plan, no? Like Sundays we will take like Sunday 11 to 1 we will actually make a repetition of the same, like DevOps discussions. That's what you mentioned, right, Dijesh?
Yes, correct. That's what I mentioned.
Yeah, that is also I'm okay. So Next Sunday yeah, yeah.
I think that seems to be very good because Sunday we will fix on one single topic. Other days maybe one can continue or something. If you are talking about DevOps, if we get who talked, I think Krishna Kumar, he talked earlier, like that he can continue with the details of each section like CI/CD or whatever it may be, the testing. So each tools and methods in deep, one area in deep on Sunday, that seems to be good. And other days, I think it's we can continue until this will be over. The things like work from home and other things will be over. Till then, we can continue on 1 hour section in the morning. Then we can discuss and reschedule according to that.
Sure. Okay. So I'm actually scheduling I'm actually blocking all your calendars for on a daily basis, like 11 to 12 on Monday to Friday, and Saturday we are actually putting a off, especially for spending your time with your family, because we don't want to disturb you on that day. And Sunday again we will be connecting on 11 to 1 with more detailed topics like this DevOps. Actually, if we talk for 1 hour, it will be very even today also we actually blocked your calendars for 2 hours, but we discuss only for 1.5 hours. So we'll be actually winding up means in 1.5 hours or whatever it may be, but we'll actually block your calendars for 2 hours, so that to make sure like we will not be going for any other discussion, or we will not be taking any other priorities in between. So Sunday we'll be connecting 2 hours. Other days we'll be connecting for 1 hour. Is that fine for all? I think.
Yeah, good. Yeah, that will be nice.
Okay. So I'll be scheduling a series of events in this other place to talk at 11 to 12 for every day, and only on Sunday 11 to 1. So I actually want to thank Krishna Kumar, Anurag, and Jasil, Swati, Rafiq, and even many people, Tanishu and Dijesh. Many people joined over here to clarify the things, and even many Sri Kumar is joining us. Sri Kumar and Srikant were joining us from the first day onwards. They are actually here to discuss or hear things, and want to clarify their doubts and all. And thanks those persons, and thanks Baiju, Unishan, and everybody for joining us to clarify the things in middle of the thing. I mean, in the middle of the session, like if somebody
Thank you
actually
for
asked.
organizing this also.
Thanks. This is actually, I'm a Scrum Master, so I can actually conduct this type of things. So yeah, I want to invite Abud Fazil. He just recently joined us. Abud, yeah, your turn. Okay.
Hi, good morning to one.
Yeah, Abud.
Am I audible?
Perfect. Go ahead.
Yeah. Sorry that I just started listening only some minutes before. So I just want to ask a question like, do you include topics of interest of non-IT project management here in this group?
100%. That's what I was saying in the earlier. Like the other place to talk is a place where exactly you can come and talk anything under the sun, which you have more clarities. Like if you are really interested to talk about sex education, that's we are actually conducting next week. And if you are actually want to talk about politics, you can conduct. And if you are a non-technical things, like if you are a bus driver, or maybe if you want to talk about more about the bus and its engine workings, and how to drive a bus, that's also we are perfectly fine. But the authenticity, like you should be having that experience to talk. And even it is we are not restricting to talk in English. All our previous sessions were in Malayalam and other things. Like today we thought like many persons will be joining from other languages, so that's why actually we started with English. So Abud, we are happy to conduct any sort of things over here. So you can actually follow me so that I can add you as member in the club. Okay, so you can create your own discussions. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you. Thanks for your patience.
Okay, yeah. So we actually conducted our session for the DevOps, the importance of DevOps in the Agile Scrum, and many questions got cleared over this session. So I would personally want to thank all of you, like all the speakers, and also the listeners over here, because they were there from the starting till time. They are hearing all the questions, and they are hearing all the explanations. They are hearing from the basics as well. So even I want to appreciate them as well for the continuous hearing on these topics. Thank you all, and great weekend continuation like Sunday.
Thank you very. Thank you all.
Thank you. So we'll meet on a daily basis at 11
Thank
to
you.
12.
Thanks everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
Yeah,
you all.
sure. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Sunny.
Bye
Thanks,
bye.
Vijesh. Bye.
Thank you all. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.